The film opens in the dead of night, where a pregnant woman is racked with violent labor pains as her husband rushes her toward the nearest hospital. The area is hauntingly empty, cleared out after rebels turned the region into chaos. The man helps her sit down and runs off to find a vehicle. By sheer luck, he manages to find a rickshaw, but before he can break its lock, the police arrive and move to arrest him, mistaking him for a rebel. However, when he explains the situation, a police officer goes to check and confirms that his wife is indeed in pain. Without wasting time, the police place her into a vehicle and rush toward the hospital. Halfway there, real rebels suddenly block the road and attempt to seize the vehicle. When their leader saw the woman inside, he calmly orders his men to stand down and let them go. When his men ask why, the leader quietly reveals that the lady is the legendary boxer Mary Kom. The story then jumps back several years, when a plane crash throws the village into chaos. Amid the scattered wreckage, a young girl named Chumney Jang discovers a lone boxing glove. When she brings it home, her father immediately throws it into the dustbin, scolding that it's not for girls and the poor. Despite this, Chumney Jang quietly retrieves the glove, plays with it joyfully, and eventually falls asleep with it by her side. Noticing this, her mother instantly realizes just how deeply she is drawn to boxing. As time passes, we see Chumney Jang grow older and get into a fierce fight with a boy who has been bullying her. Although he overpowers her and knocks her down with a punch, she refuses to back off, desperately fighting back until the boy finally runs away and her friends step in to calm her down. Back at home, Chumney Jang tends to her wounds. Already frustrated by her constant fights, her father scolds her harshly. He's fed up with her reckless behavior, getting into fights with boys, neglecting her expensive studies, and obsessing over boxing, the one thing he despises most. She argues and tries to explain her side, but her father refuses to listen and forbids her from going out for a week. A week later, Chumney Jang's wound has healed, and as she's on her way to school, she suddenly spots the same bully. Determined to settle their previous conflict, she puts on her childhood gloves and confronts him to fight again. As she moves to attack, the bully slaps her hard, sending her sprawling to the ground and then runs off. Determined, Chumney Jang gives chase and a fierce pursuit unfolds through the narrow alleys of the slums unit. The bully accidentally stumbles into a boxing academy. Chumney Jang finally catches up to him and lands a solid punch that grabs everyone's attention. She again jumps into the fighting until the coach tells her to stop and calls her over to the side. The coach scolds her, saying that boxing gloves are meant for disciplined sport, not street fights. As he speaks, Chumney Jang notices a photograph of him with the national champion. Realizing who he is, she eagerly asks him to train her in boxing. Her request makes everyone laugh, but coach asks her to give 5 reasons why he should take her on. Each time, Chumney Jang only says, "I love boxing, I love boxing." Impressed by her passion, the coach finally agrees and tells her to report back at 7 the next morning. Unable to believe what she has just achieved, she is over the moon and impulsively hugs the bully before joyfully leaving. As soon as she gets home, she excitedly shares the good news with her mother and asks for permission to learn boxing. While her mother has no objection, she knows her father will never agree to it. Leaving it up to herself, she confidently goes to her father, but seeing that he's already in a bad mood, she quietly backs away without saying a word. Still determined, she wakes up before dawn in the biting cold, gets herself ready, finishes her morning chores at home, and takes the bus to reach the academy right at 7 o'clock. With brimming excitement, she eagerly approaches the coach, but he tells her to sit quietly in a corner for now. Hours pass as she watches the academy's vibrant, high-energy training sessions unfold. When evening comes, she returns home without having trained at all. The same routine repeats the next day. She arrives at the training ground with the same enthusiasm, only to be told to sit quietly once again, and by evening, the coach sends her home without any training. Days turn into weeks, and even after 10 days, Chumney Jang's training still hasn't begun. Seeing that she continues to show up every single day, the coach is truly impressed by her stubborn determination and finally takes her into the ring. The coach admits that it was all a test to see if she truly had the commitment to become a boxer and tells her that from now on, boxing is her entire world, her time, her happiness, and every moment of her life. With that, Chumney Jang's training begins the very next day, with the coach personally guiding her at every step. Though the training is grueling at the start, Chumney Jang dedicates herself fully, practicing relentlessly both at the academy and at home. From attacks to defenses, the coach meticulously guides her through every move. Before long, she becomes so sharp and precise that she starts outperforming even the most skilled players at the academy, earning new pairs of gloves as a reward from the coach. One evening, Chumney Jang finds her brother crying and heartbroken. When she asks why, he tells her their father had to mortgage their pet cow to pay a debt. Hearing this, she promises to retrieve their cow. While training, Chumney overhears some boys talking about a street fight. Wasting no time, she heads to the illegal venue where a fighter named Loka dominates the ring and no one dares to challenge him. When Chumney steps into the ring, everyone is shocked to see a girl and even laughs at her. Undeterred, she confidently challenges Loka, and he sets a challenge that if she can defend herself against him every 15 seconds, he will give her $4. The match begins, and Chumney feels a surge of nervous energy. She faces Loka head-on, expertly defending against several of his strikes at first, but eventually a powerful punch knocks her to the ground. Loka starts celebrating, only to be stunned as Chumney rises again and lands a fierce strike, making him accept that she is a strong fighter. The atmosphere shifts and the crowd begin cheering for her, but Loka ends the match with another solid punch just 45 seconds in. After the fight, Onler is praising Chumney skills to his friend when he notices her arguing with the bidder over not receiving the full payment. When Onler intervenes, Bidder immediately hands her the full amount, impressing Chumney. Onler admires not only her fighting skills but also her courage for pursuing boxing as a girl. As she leaves, he offers her a ride and finding him kind, she accepts. During the journey, they share a pleasant conversation and Chumney learns that Onler is a football coach. The next day, Chumney brings her cow back and heads to the academy, where she learns that the list of players selected for the state championship has been finalized. She rushes to check the list, but her name is nowhere to be found. Her excitement fades until the coach approaches and asks her to look again. This time, she spots her name on the list written as Mary Kom, a powerful new name given by the coach, and she's over the moon. A week later, the state championship begins. As the coach gives Mary some last-minute guidance before her match, the Federation manager Sharma announces the next bout. Arrogant and selfish, Sharma refuses to provide refreshments for the players when the coach pays for everything himself. Moments later, the first round begins, and from the very start, Mary dominates the ring. As her friends and Onler cheer from the stands, she controls the fight and easily wins the opening round. Guided by her coach and fueled by her training, Mary again overpowers in the second round and lands a powerful punch, knocking out her opponent and securing the state championship. It's a moment of immense pride, not just for Mary and her coach, but for her entire village. At a tea stall, a group of men read the news and mockingly remark that parents who allow their daughters to take up boxing are irresponsible, using utterly harsh words to criticize them, but when one of the men looks at the photo, he freezes. It's his own daughter, Chumney. Enraged, he storms into his house and scolds Chumney for boxing and entering the tournament without telling him. Exhausted by her stubbornness, he forces her to choose him or boxing. Chumney pleads with him, insisting she can become a great boxer and even improve their financial situation, but he remains unmoved. Left with no choice, she reluctantly chooses boxing, a decision that shatters her father. Separated from her family, Mary throws herself into training, competing in major tournaments over the years and becoming the first woman to win the national championship 3 times. 2 years ongoing like this, and now, her eyes are set on the Asian championship, but she loses her passport, which means she won't be able to participate in the championship. Her teammates casually mock her for it, but in a fit of rage, she storms into the camp, and when she emerges, she's shaved her head, a shocking act that leaves everyone disturbed. After this, she eventually returns home 2 years later. As Mary hands out gifts to her siblings, her mother reacts with disappointment, scolding her for shaving her head. When Mary tries to explain, her father appears, but instead of speaking to her, he coldly ignores her as if she were a stranger. The cold treatment leaves Mary devastated, and a few months later, she meets Onler and opens up about everything she's been holding in. He encourages her to let go of past failures and focus entirely on the upcoming World Championship. The two grow close, and Onler later drops her off at the airport as she leaves to compete. The championship begins in Turkey, and Mary fights her way to the finals. Back in her village, everyone gathers around a television to watch the final match together. Mary's mother urges her husband to join them, but he coldly refuses, saying he doesn't even want to see her face. As the match begins, Mary dominates as always, landing sharp and precise strikes, while her father listens intently to the commentary. Fueled by the cheers of her villagers and mother, she dominates the fight and wins the first round effortlessly. The second round begins with the villagers cheering wildly, but this time Mary's opponent gains the upper hand and it looks like Mary might lose the round. But just then, her father joins the crowd with full energy, cheering Mary and proudly motivating her. Energized by his support, Mary regains her formidable form, unleashing 3 sharp combinations followed by a crushing punch that knocks out her opponent. With that, she becomes the first Indian woman to win the Boxing World Championship. From the coach to the villagers, everyone erupts in celebration, and most importantly, her father watches proudly as Mary receives the gold medal, realizing he was wrong and becoming deeply emotional. A few days later, Mary returns to her village, where everyone organizes a joyous celebration in her honor, dancing and cheering. Her father stands at a distance, watching her with pride. After a moment, Mary approaches him and presents him with a watch. As she puts on his wrist, her father finally admits he's proud of her and asks for her forgiveness. Mary says nothing and simply hugs him, and together, they join the celebration, dancing side by side with the villagers. Later that day, a reporter approaches Mary for an interview. Confidently, she reflects on how she has made her village proud and become an inspiration for countless girls. When she asked why so few people in India pursue sports, with a hint of doubt about talent, Mary points to the federations, who neglect their champions, fail to provide proper diet, and favor bribes over genuine talent. The next day, Federation head Sharma confronts Mary over her interview, scolding her and reminding her that she became a champion because of the Federation. He even warns that he can dismiss her whenever he wants. Mary responds with a stern look and walks away without a word. That evening, Mary and Onler share some roadside snacks, and Mary opens up about how her mother has been pressuring her to get married. Without hesitation, Onler bluntly proposes to her, leaving Mary stunned. He assures her that he would take good care of her and that she could continue boxing even after marriage, but Mary only responds with an angry look. A week later, the 2006 Women's World Championship begins, and once again, Mary fights her way to the final. This time, she faces a formidable opponent, Sasha from Germany, with Onler cheering from the stands. Taking her coach's blessings, Mary steps into the ring. The match begins at a fierce pace, neither allowing the other a clear chance to score. However, her coach and the crowd notice that Mary's focus slips many times, weighed down by thoughts of Onler's proposal. Still, she steadies herself, lands several clean punches, and finishes the first round with a narrow lead on points. During the break, the coach scolds her for losing focus and makes her realize that Sasha is a tough competitor. As the second round begins, Sasha charges like a wild wolf, unleashing a relentless barrage of punches until she fires back with a crushing blow that sends Sasha crashing to the canvas. Before the third round, Mary locks eyes with Onler, and once the bell rings, Sasha tries every trick, but Mary counters each move flawlessly. She lands a series of sharp strategic punches, quickly building a commanding lead as Sasha stumbles under pressure. In the final seconds, Mary fires one last high-scoring strike and seals a great victory. Mary's coach is overjoyed, and the entire arena erupts in celebration. The pride of winning her third consecutive title shines on Mary's face, and seeing Onler's happiness, she walks up to him and says yes to his proposal, leaving him overwhelmed with joy. In the locker room, the coach strongly opposes Mary's decision to marry at the peak of her career. Mary insists she will continue boxing, but the coach believes that responsibilities will eventually force her to quit. Despite his efforts, Mary refuses to back down. Utterly disappointed, the coach walks away, but not before warning her that she could have made history. Yet, like many others, she is letting love derail her future. The next morning, Mary and Onler visit the coach's house with a wedding invitation, but he slams the door shut without a word. Heartbroken, they still pass the card through the door and leave. A few days later, Onler and Mary get married in a church, surrounded by friends and family. Everyone is happy, but the coach watches from a distance, choosing not to attend Mary's happiest moment. Afterwards, Onler and Mary enjoy life together as a happy couple, taking time off from their careers and creating joyful memories. Several months pass, and one day Mary discovers that she is pregnant. Onler is overjoyed by the news, but Mary doesn't seem as happy because she knows it's not the right time. Days pass like this, and one day, Onler notices Mary growing upset while watching a boxing match. He realizes she misses the sport deeply. Already frustrated, Mary burst out, saying her career is over because of her pregnancy, and this leads a heated argument between them. However, she understands Onler's feelings and apologizes, happily accepting the reality. Afterwards, Mary clears her medals and awards to make space for family photos, joyfully awaiting the arrival of her child. Months later, Mary gives birth to twin girls, bringing the greatest joy of her life. From Onler to her family, everyone is over the moon as they name the babies. After this, Onler and Mary settle into a more responsible life, with Mary giving up her boxing career to focus on family, just as the coach had warned. One day, she received a letter confirming a job she had applied for. Onler objects it, insisting that one of them needs to stay home to care for the children, but Mary says they can manage together and that a stable income is important at this time. When Mary goes to complete her job formalities, she's shocked to find she's been offered a low-ranking position as a constable. Furious, she points out that she is a 3-time world champion yet is given such a post. The recruiter then demands a bribe to upgrade her position, prompting Mary to condemn him and the corrupt system, saying it's why even world champions can't afford life's basic necessities. On their way back, they meet a passenger whose daughter considers Mary Kom her hero and wishes to meet her. Mary gladly gives the girl her autograph, and in that moment they realize she is the legendary Mary Kom. This deeply inspires Onler, and he urges Mary to return to boxing. However, Mary knows it's no longer possible due to her responsibilities and health conditions. Still, Onler motivates and reassures her, promising to handle everything, from the children to daily duties, and stand by her side at every step. The next morning, Onler wakes Mary, and she eagerly resumes her training, though her stamina is noticeably reduced, and she still bears the responsibilities of caring for the children. While Onler takes full charge of everything, including everyone's diet, he knows that real progress can only happen at the academy. Yet Mary hesitates, afraid to face her coach there. The next day, Mary arrives at the academy, and as she enters, everyone bursts with joy and cheers, while her picture is proudly displayed as a symbol of inspiration. She gathers her courage and approaches the coach, but he rudely ignores her, as if he doesn't even know her. Undeterred, she begins training alongside the other players with full determination. Despite his anger, the coach can't help but watch her closely. He notices her strength has diminished and that she's not the same as before, yet he remains stubbornly firm. One day, Mary rushes home from the academy and finds her daughter sick. The doctor says that if her fever doesn't go down, she may need to stay in the hospital. Mary puts her training on hold to take care of her daughter, looking after her carefully, and eventually her daughter's fever finally goes down and she recovers. A week later, the national championship begins, and Mary makes her return to the ring. During the match, Onler encourages her while the coach watches closely. Although Mary's opponent is less skilled, she still gives Mary a tough fight. Despite his anger, the coach is pained to see how much her strength has declined. When the match ends, no winner is announced immediately, leaving the decision to the judges and Sharma. Everyone believes Mary has won, as she clearly scores more points, but to everyone's shock, the judges declare her opponent the winner. Knowing Sharma already dislikes her, Mary believes the decision is totally unfair. She argues with the judges, creates a scene there, and openly criticizes the federation and judges until Onler forcefully pulls her away. Following the incident, Sharma appears on television claiming that Mary Kom has lost her sanity after being defeated by an inferior opponent and announces her permanent ban due to her behavior. On this, Onler quickly prepares an apology letter and urges Mary to submit it, but she refuses. Onler then tries to reason with her, saying that the only way to silence everyone is to return and become world champion again. The next morning, Mary goes to the Federation office, but Sharma deliberately makes her wait all day, ignoring her again and again. At closing time, as Sharma finally leaves his office, Mary hands him the apology letter. He laughs at it and mocks her ego, but accepts it anyway. Not out of forgiveness, but because he wants to see Mary defeated by inferior players once again. The next day, Mary arrives at the coach's home with her both children. Though still angry, he lets her in. With a voice filled with regret, Mary admits he was right and accepts her mistakes, then asks him to train her once again to turn her from Chamnijang to Mary Kom again. Moved by her honesty, the coach sets aside his anger and agrees to train her with renewed determination. The film then moves into a powerful training montage, where Coach puts Mary through intense and unforgiving drills to rebuild her form. Every detail is pushed to the limit, from restoring her strength and stamina to refining each punch and strike move. Day after day, the training grows harsher, forcing Mary to break past her physical limits as the coach works relentlessly to transform her better version than her old version. After grueling training, Mary is fully prepared for the World Championships. With the blessings of her children and family, she travels to China for the 2008 tournament, where she easily wins her opening match. After the match, Mary calls Onler to casually update him and ask about the children. When he tells her that one of their daughters has a fever, Mary panics. Onler quickly reassures her, urging her to stay focused on the tournament and it's just a normal fever. When the fever lasts for 2 days, Onler takes their daughter to the doctor and learns she has a hole in her heart requiring surgery. A friend urges Onler to tell Mary, but they then see on television that Mary reached the finals, where she will face the world champion Sasha. Not wanting to distract her at such a crucial moment, Onler decides to keep the news to himself. Meanwhile, Mary tries calling Onler several times, but he doesn't answer. Moments later, the coach calls Mary and shows her footage of Sasha, warning that she has become far more dangerous and is nothing like the fighter Mary defeated before. Sharma then interrupts, bluntly stating that India won't win gold this time either. The coach pushes back, arguing that the team has performed exceptionally well, but Sharma mocks them, claiming the players treat these trips like vacations funded by the federation, not competitions meant to be won. Hearing this, Mary steps in, showing the fighters bruises and injuries, explaining how hard they've fought in each match. Furious, Sharma threatens to ban her again, but another female boxer steps forward in support of Mary, warning Sharma that she will file a harassment complaint, and the rest of the team joins her in solidarity. Intimidated and outnumbered, Sharma backs down and leaves. Just before the match begins, Mary receives a call from Onler. She confronts him for missing her calls, but Onler finally tells her about their daughter's heart surgery, leaving Mary stunned and heartbroken. Overwhelmed, Onler urges her to stay focused, assuring her that he won't let anything happen to their child. Moments later, the match begins. Sasha steps into the ring, followed by Mary, but everyone can clearly see the tears in her eyes and the sadness she can't hide. As Mary steps into the ring, her daughter's surgery begins. The bell rings, and Sasha charges like a wild animal, raining down brutal punches. Grief freezes Mary, and she takes every blow without any response. The whole village watches in fear as her coach urges her to fight, but Sasha doesn't slow down, ending the round with a crushing body punch. As the round begins, Sasha steps in with delivering dangerous blow, just like last time. Mary tries to defend herself, but Sasha easily overpowers her, gaining points steadily and ending the round with another solid punch to the chin. The commentators, along with Mary's fans, begin to feel that she won't be able to become champion this time. Here, doctors fight to save her child, and the third round begins. Mary fights valiantly, but grief threatens to consume her, and Sasha lands a decisive punch that knocks her opponent out cold. The referee begins the count, and everyone from coach to crowd roars for Mary to get up. In that moment, Mary thinks of her daughter, and at the same time, her daughter's surgery is being successful. As her child breathes again, Mary rises with renewed strength, sending a wave of hope and energy through the crowd and the coaches. Showing her iconic comeback, Mary begins dodging every attack with precision, firing back razor-sharp strikes like a wild beast unleashed. The entire stadium erupts with goosebumps, chanting her name in thunderous support. As her energy keeps surging, the arena explodes with electric intensity. Even Sharma starts motivating her as Mary bursts at Sasha like a glitching machine, leaving her opponent in complete shock. Fueled by unwavering support from the crowd, Mary unleashes a series of unstoppable high-scoring strikes that completely knock out Sasha. As the referee completes the count, the arena erupts in celebration, and Mary makes history once again, becoming world champion for the fourth time and finally bringing gold for India after a long wait. The coach speaks to Onler and then tells Mary that her daughter's operation was successful. As Mary is awarded the medal, the Indian national anthem echoes through the stadium. In this powerful final moment, the joy of victory shines on Mary's face and in the eyes of her loved ones. The film ends on this inspiring note, followed by showing us the real photograph of Mary. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Additionally, if you love Indian movies, you're in the right place as we bring the best explanations for global audiences. Before you go, drop your favorite Indian movie in the comments for us to explain next, and also check out more of our content.